Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. Well, when it came to Delhi versus Punjab, it was Delhi who had it in their belly. Nice and proper. Big little burp in the end, getting there with enough time, with enough wickets in hand. It was 195. That was what Punjab had put on the board. And Delhi getting there quite easily in the end. 6 wickets in hand, 10 balls still to spare. SHIKHAR Dhawan, destructive. He likes playing against Punjab. Maybe because he's Punjabi. 92 of 49 is what he got. Prithvi Shaw was on fire as well. 32 of 17 and some fireworks from Marcus Stowe in his 27 of 13. And really the Punjab bowlers, they didn't have too many answers to Delhi. I'm Gaurav Kapur. I have with me Michael Vaughan and Joy Bhattacharjya. Joy, Michael and I were telling you Delhi had it in their belly. I don't know why you were saying advantage Punjab. See, you gave up your crown. You were just too pompous. You were too vain. You were too arrogant.
I said if Punjab get 2 wickets in the first 6, they have a chance.
They got one. They got one. But this didn't even look like they had a 50% chance for the rest of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the one other thing I'm really grateful to Deepak Huda is the last time I've seen so much juggling was in Gemini Circus in 1979 when I was taken by my parents. You know, that much juggling I've never seen with a cricket ball in my life.
That was quite a catch, wasn't it, Michael?
Well, yeah, he made a meal of it. What a performance from Delhi. They lost the last game. You know, a little bit of a stumble and have answered any kind of critics with an emphatic performance. Very good with the ball in the end. You know, 194 we thought was okay. I just go back to that KL Rahul innings. I'll keep going about in 2020 cricket, you've got to play fearless cricket. You can't have a number. You know, I just think when KL bats sometimes in T20 cricket, he plays like the old school method that you're trying to get to a number. So let's get to 180. The teams that are really, really good in 2020 cricket now, they go for what's possible. They don't think of a number. What is possible? Is that ball there to hit out the ground? Hit it out the ground. And if the next ball's there to hit it out the ground, hit it out the ground. And if the next ball's there to hit it out the ground, hit it out the ground. Don't think, I've hit one out the ground. I'll just get one now. That is the old school way of thinking. This new era, you have to have the mindset that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get caught on the edge, but you have to go for it. You know, on a pitch like we saw this evening, it wasn't the kind of pitch that was tacky to start with. It was a good pitch at the start. Yeah. You know, we've had a couple of games where it's been tacky and then they've ended up getting big scores. But today was a pure wicket from ball one. They needed a lot more runs and they needed a better mindset from KL Rahul.
Yeah, and the reason Michael is saying that, if I could just refresh everyone's memory, is because it was a 50 ball 61 from KL Rahul. He's effectively, Joy, almost, I mean, this criticism is, I mean, seems a little harsh when someone's got 61 runs, but it's absolutely fair because it's the strike rate you're talking about. You've left the other, the other 70 balls for the rest of the team. You've taken 50 balls, which means you're set, you're seeing it well. It's Mumbai, right? You're a class batsman like KL Rahul. It's your birthday as well. You're going to get a few gifts. Come on, tempt fate a bit. So it does seem like, and when you're seeing in the end, and we're not saying that, this is not hindsight being 2020. We called this in the mid-game as well, that they may feel about 15 runs short. In the end, if it's 10 balls to spare, you're about 25 short.
Yep, exactly. And if you're set batsman, my problem is if you're set batsman, if you're batted 50 balls, you're the set batsman. If your set batsman is scoring at a strike rate of 120, what chance is there for the rest of the team? That means somebody has scored out of their pants to even get you to this position, which was Mayank Agarwal. But if you're batted 50 balls, your average must have to climb up to 135, 140 minimum. And 135, 140, I'm being very charitable out here. I mean, guys who are batting that long are hitting it at 150, 160. That's the kind of runs are being scored out there. Rahul cannot afford to do it. And exactly, this is old style batting. Hit a 6, rotate strike. You don't hit a 6 and rotate strike. You hit a 6, which is in your zone again, you hit another 6. Exactly as Michael said it.
The due factor as well. KL Rahul spoken about it. Yes, there were stoppages in the game because the ball was getting very wet, and KL Rahul has mentioned that after the game, where he's saying that we should probably look at changing the balls because it gets very unfair on the bowler. Michael, just if you could just enlighten our viewers a little bit on the due effect that happens on the ball and what happens to the bowlers and why KL Rahul would be saying this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy because the bowlers, they just want to have a grip of the ball. the seam bowlers, it's hard for spinners because they want a grip to be able to get some revolutions, and it's very difficult when it's just a little bit slight. It's like bowling with a bar of soap. Very difficult to be consistent with it. And the seamers just want to have a grip of the ball just to try and control it. And when it's just kind of sliding out the hands, but you can see full tosses arriving when you've got a slippery ball. But what I would say to Carol, your bowlers bowl quite a few no balls. The dew factor doesn't play into the hands of bowling, putting your foot beyond that line. And that's a concern when you're making basic errors. And also, you can use it as an excuse for the reason why you didn't get enough runs. If they're being brutally honest, Punjab, they should have got 220 on that kind of wicket. They may still have lost. And you could easily argue that the dew factor then plays a massive part. But, if I'm looking at Punjab, if they want to be a better team and they want to try and get into that top four, which is going to be very, very difficult, Mumbai in. Delhi, you feel are going to be in. RCB, you feel are going to get in. Now, as Joy mentioned in the Harbour, they're playing for one spot. And the only way you can get into that fourth spot, you feel at this stage, is be brave. You're not going to stumble in playing, kind of sensible cricket. T20 cricket's a game for the madman. Whack it. Don't worry about it. Just launch it. That's the only way you can play. And it's the only way that the Punjab team can get back into this competition is by completely freeing up their minds and going for it. And if they do, they might have a chance. If they don't, they've got absolutely no chance.
Well, because they do have the talent to do it. You've got Mayank Agarwal, who's played that brand of cricket that Michael is endorsing. He's done that today. Deepak Hooda has done that in a couple of games. We've seen Shah Rukh do that a bit. Chris Gayle is the master of kind of that kind of game, right? I mean, he's got 175 in T20 cricket, so he knows exactly what the drill is there. Their concerns are two. One is that Puran's not looking in form. Puran's not looking on song. And the fact that, KL strike rate, Joy. And the thing is, the third problem, which actually these two problems get addressed, the third problem probably won't even come up, which is that they don't have too much batting beyond 7, right? But if you address these two problems, that's 6 super strikers, super pedigreed batsmen. You don't need anyone else. You can get, 200s regularly with these 6.
Yeah, actually, the good news has been the emergence of Hooda and Shah Rukh. Hooda and Shah Rukh have given them far more than any other batsman has given them. Middle-order Indian batsman has given them. Sarfraz, Mandeep, none of the guys have given them as much as Hooda and Shah Rukh have given them. And in as quick time. Okay, exactly. So these guys have delivered it for them. See, you have two problems. Actually, you have one problem is Rahul. The other is till he settles down. If Chris Gayle gets out early, his strike rate is going to be 115, 120. Because in the beginning, he just sort of plays it around. Chris Gayle, the difference between Chris Gayle and KL Rahul is if Chris Gayle played 50 balls, there's no way his strike rate can be 120. Then his strike rate is up to 150, 160. The problem with KL Rahul is he's playing that many and his strike rate remains the same. So Chris needs a little time to start up, but they can afford to do that if the rest of the guys go hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are talking about because KL Rahul said this post-match as well, where he said that, we were 10, 15 runs short. We guys are saying they were about 20, 25 short if you win with 10 balls to spare. But the fact is, Delhi still had to bat and get these, right? When you're going 10 and over, you may have a wet ball, you may have a small ground, quick outfield, yada, yada, yada. You still got to score those runs. And today, it was Shikhar Dhawan. Jesus. Okay, 1 second. I just want to check one thing. This is a Sunday night, right? It's a Sunday night. Is it a Sunday night, Michael?
Yes.
Because Shikhar Dhawan's footwork showed me he had some Saturday night fever going on.
He's in fine form. He found his form in the England series. He's a great player, isn't he? Because what he's so good at is he reads what the bowler's going to do. So he assessed Mohammad Shami around the wicket, and he saw mid-on was up, and he knew that Shami was going to bowl that slow ball, that cutter. So he danced down and just launched him into the stand. He was ahead of Mohammad Shami. Yeah. He was thinking ahead of the bowler. And that's what really great T20 players can do. They can think, what is the bowler going to bowl? And they get themselves in a position knowing that if they bowl that ball, they can whack it. And if it's not the ball that they expect, they've still got a way of getting out of trouble or maneuvering the ball into another space. Brilliant. I mean, look at that strike rate. That's the kind of strike rate you're after. 187 at the top of the order. The pitch is pure. And he just deflected it. He hit it. He ran between the wickets hard. A brilliant player, great to watch.
And Joy, the other thing about Shikhar, which I love, is live by the sword, die by the sword, right? I mean, it's that same. He just kept sort of stepping outside the off stump, and so be it. They still got a smile on his face. He goes. I mean, he's also scored 92 at a 150 strike rate, but That's the thing that you not 150, much more than 150, right? He's got it at a 185 strike rate, I think. There you go, 187 strike rate. You're going to be happy. But you love that about him. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
No, not just that. I mean, if you look at the chase, 195 is a chase. Whatever it is, it's high. He never allowed it to go out of reach ever. Okay?
Yeah.
And he never had to, try and whack the ball unnecessarily. He always, every time they were in a bit of pressure, he got a 4. It was so beautifully done. Just see the way he's accelerated. 62, 10.33. Then he goes at 9.25, then at 10.6. He's always got the run rate under control. The other thing he did, which I loved, is, in addition to what Michael said about him, knowing which ball, so reading the bowler by seeing the field placement, is how well he manipulated the field. So he'd wait for the ball to come, then he'll hit it a bit squarer, then the field would go square, then he'd hit it out over mid-wicket, and you can see Rahul is going absolutely mad because he's hitting a ball, Rahul's adjusting the field, then he's hitting it to where the previous fielder was. And Brian Lara used to be famous for this. This is as good field manipulation. This is not a brute power, Andre Russell kind of, I'm hitting it so hard that it's going. This is like, dude, you're putting it there, okay, I'm going to put the ball. It's like a chess game out there. And he was so far ahead of them. He was just so far ahead.
Let's ask the captain who must have set some fields against Brian Lara.
Oh, don't ask me about that. He's the only player, actually, that gave me an embarrassing afternoon at the Oval. Yeah. And I tried every trick in there. But usually I could control, not all the time, but I think we control most players with certain fields. And you could put an offside field or a leg side field, bowl straight, bowl short, make sure he's hitting it behind square. Brian Lara, every single tactic I tried at the Oval, I can't remember, you must have been my first year, I think, as captain in 2003. Everything I tried, he took the piss out of me. I'm pretty sure he was looking at me at mid-on going, you're getting offside field, I'm going to hit it through mid-wicket. Oh, wow. I'll set a leg side field then, Brian. I'll step away and hit it through the offside. I was stood at mid-off going, what will we do next? No, he's the only one. It was a horrible afternoon, but it was quite good fun watching him.
Yeah, in retrospect, when you watch it, it's fun. I'm sure that day must have been quite traumatic, but it's a bit of an education, right? We're watching one of the masters at work. All you can do some days is just kind of stand back and just applaud the effort, right? What you gonna do? Really?
This part of you just give him a fist pump and you just go, yeah, well done.
Yeah, well played. Can we go now, please? Can we go home? Shikhar Dhawan did a lot of that today, and that's what we're talking about, right? I mean, he's played 50 balls, but 49 actually got 92. And his opposite number opener, the captain, has played 50 balls and got 61. So I think that's exactly what Michael and Joy are talking about, that maybe in some grounds, Punjab needs that. They need it from Rahul. And the reason we say it is because he is pure class, right, Joy? I mean, he has the acceleration in him, right? We wouldn't even bother. Nobody would bother wasting their breath on a guy who didn't have the talent or the capability. This guy has the talent and the capability of playing 50 balls with a 200-plus strike rate.
No, absolutely. It reminds me of that famous race. I think it was John Landy, Roger Bannister. They were running this mile race just after Roger Bannister had broken the form.
40s, 30s, 60s? When was this?
50s.
50s, sorry.
This is the first form
just now.
Mile.
Yeah.
And the whole problem was that at some point in time, I think Landy was ahead, and he turns around to see where Roger Bannister is. And Roger Bannister overtakes him. And I think that's what Rahul is doing a lot of. Somewhere mentally while he's batting, he's looking over his shoulder. Somewhere he's sort of stopping. And he's just too good a batsman to do that. Something is holding him back. Somewhere he's got that indecision. And he doesn't need it because he's a class striker of the ball. See, when he hits one, you look and say, what was the fuss all about? Yeah. I mean, why did he need to dab at the other two? What was the fuss all about? He hit it so beautifully. Yeah. That's why he gets frustrated. It's not because he can't hit it. It's because he seems he can hit every ball and somehow chooses not to hit as many as he should.
Yeah, but, well, it's his birthday today, so we're just going to say happy birthday. And we're going to say, could he got the runs? And, of course, wish Punjab all the luck because they need it now. Look at the points table. As we have said, there's 3 teams that are looking pretty solid, and those are the 3 at the top, Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. And that means you've got everybody else in a mad scramble for one spot. Now, I'm not just looking at the points. Obviously, they've all done well. Bangalore's got 3 out of 3. 2 wins for both Delhi and Mumbai. look at the net run rate as well, right? They're getting the big wins, which is why it's a bit of advantage to Chennai, because Chennai, after that win over Punjab, has given their net run rate a big booster shot. Why am I speaking about the net run rate? Well, it has happened for many years in a row where net run rate kind of weeds out the fourth and from the fifth, or the fifth from the fourth, right? That's what's happening there. So it's happened the last 2 years, and unfortunately, both years it's happened to Kolkata. And I think both years Hyderabad has done it to them, haven't they? I think one of the years for sure. But Hyderabad is in solid trouble, right? 3 losses from 3 games. One of the pre-tournament, well, not favorites to win, but perhaps favorites for the playoffs, looking kind of shambolic right now. But Chennai, I mean, I don't mind the look of Chennai, Joy. I mean, we keep saying Dad's Army, we keep saying, spent force. They've got a few things in there that are working in their favor. I love what Michael Vaughan said about Moina finding a spiritual fit in the team, right? That's a good point there. They've got Suresh Raina back. They've got a couple of bowlers. They'll have Lungi and Giri available perhaps for selection. Jason Behrendorff, they'll get that pace as well. I wouldn't rule them out from the playoffs just as yet, Joy.
Not at all. Not at all. I think Punjab is a better side definitely than they were last year. And they still have a few, cards they can play. Ingidi is a card they can play. Imran Tahir is a card they can play. Chennai.
Yeah.
Imran Tahir, Ingidi, Robin Uthappa, all these 3 guys are sitting on the bench. All these 3 guys are potentially guys who can change matches. And they're on the bench. There's more opportunity out there. Also, as I said, the way Ravindra Jadeja is fielding, he's just setting it on fire on the field. I mean, and that does make a difference. Runouts, good catches. These make huge differences to teams, because teams get electrified by things like this. So they're going to feed off that passion. They're going to feed off that energy. And I think that is, if Chennai can go on a run and win a couple of matches, then there'll be a difficult team to stop. They need to get momentum.
Also about the Punjab bowling, I mean, we've criticized the Punjab batting, and we've said that they could have got more. But, they still had 195, Michael. Would you have expected a little better from their bowlers, perhaps?
Yeah, I've written down here, actually, the combination of Shami, Richardson and Meredith. No, Richardson got a couple of wickets. 129 runs in 10.2 overs.
Wow.
Shami going for 53. I mean, there you kind of seen your core in a way. I know there's 2 Aussies that haven't played much IPL, but they've been paid a lot of money. You'd expect a better return than that. Shami just had an off night. I mean, I think that catch that he went under summed him up. He didn't get within 3 meters of that high ball down at 10.
Yeah.
He had one of those nights, but I'd be concerned by that. If I was, Anil Kumble, I'd be looking at those 3 and thinking, to go at 13 runs per over pretty much on a pitch that flat, but you just expect that little bit more. The one thing I'll say that the Wankhede, they're all going for runs, but you don't see many bounces bowled. And I know the top edge can fly, but I just think it's worth, when you're travelling, you're putting it on a spot, and you're seeing those wide attempted Yorkers getting slashed over point for 6. Surely it's worth trying to get a few past the neck. Just something slightly different. You've got pace. Meredith, a quick bowler. Richardson's quick. Shami's quick. I think they underuse the bouncer at the Wankhede because they're so concerned of it flying everywhere. But I think it's a wicket-taking option.
We'll have a look at the Punjab squad as well and see that, if there are any kind of reasonable options for them, right? Because, this has not worked more than it has worked. So we'll look at that and see if they genuinely have any option. They have a Chris Jordan there, right? Joy, Chris Jordan, when it comes to T20 cricket, he's one of the wiliest foxes that you have playing the game.
Yeah, I think Chris Jordan definitely is an option they can look at. I think Jalaj Saxena has worked for them, but I feel they need the variety of a leggy. Today in the modern game, you'll see very few teams going into a match without either a bowler like a Varun Chakravarti or a genuine leg spinner, because leggies tend to take more wickets in this format. So going with just one off spinner and having Deepak Huda bowl the other, you need somebody like an Ashwin in the team. And if you put him in the team, then you can't play Jalaj. Then that whole batting balance, bowling balance. Do you get in on reeks? What do you do? So these are all questions they have to ask themselves. But it is a problem of their own choosing. They went into the auction with the maximum money.
Yeah, Michael. Again, if you're not getting at least, you should be getting 6 overs from your top 6, but you need at least 4 coming from there, right? If you want an option.
Yeah, you need options. Chris Jordan has to play. Because Jordan's an unbelievable fielder. He can bat. You could throw him in at. You wouldn't want to put him at 7, but you could put him at 8. Meredith to me just looks like he's the kind of bowler that you have to choose the right surface for him. I think now the Wankhede are just steaming in, and Shami, they've not quite learned from bowling there on 3 different occasions, 3 different pitches, I guess, that they've had to bowl on. But they've just got to have more of a mindset. It's not so much for me the change with Punjab, because you can change personnel, but if you don't change the culture in terms of the way that you're going to play, i.e., you've got to go for it. I think you'll be talking in the next game, the game after, they didn't quite get enough runs because they didn't have that brave approach. If you play, more fearlessly with the batting hand, you go and get the 225s on that wicket that they should have done. They will win games of cricket. So I'd look more at the batting mindset, making sure that, I think the standout is Shikhar Dhawan getting that big score off the 49 balls and, 50 balls for 61 for KL Rahul. That for me, it's not picking on him. It's the reality of the game. That is where the game was won and lost today.
Yeah, and KL Rahul said after the game that I am cognizant of my strike rate, which is why I've been trying new shots. No. Sorry, Shikhar Dhawan said that, not KL Rahul. Shikhar Dhawan said that I've been cognizant of my strike rate. That's why I've been trying the new shots, and they work for him. They have. Whatever you're doing, Shikhar, more of same, please. More of same. I mean, he had a brilliant season in 2020 and seemed to be carrying that form into 2021. It's almost like, there's so many youngsters who are fighting for that spot, right, in T20 cricket. And he didn't play the T20 games against England. So it's almost like Shikhar saying, hang on a second. This old dog's got a few tricks still, huh, Joy?
Absolutely. I mean, on current form, he has to be opening for the this year's World Cup. There's no way. There's no batsman who's Rohit Sharma, whatever it is, they're so classy. And Shikhar has been, just exactly as I was talking about, the way he's manipulated the field, the way he's hit it. And he doesn't hit too many sixes, but he has hit more fours than anyone else in this tournament, ever, in the history of this tournament.
The problem, Joy, is he's got a bit of a roadblock, because Virat said that he's opening the bat. So you might need to steamroller the road block and get him out of the way to make sure that he gets a game.
The thing is,
it looks like Virat will go out there.
And the thing is that Virat may stick to that because somebody's actually steamrolled him out of his position. It's Surya Kumar Yadav. I mean, the way he has batted, you're thinking he's got to bat at 3. The captain's saying, well, I remember backyard cricket. Captain bats first. So captain is batting up front with the vice captain. Both of them are going, always happened like that in my school, in my colony. That's the way it happened. Captain and vice captain opened the batting. So Surya at 3. But, well, there are still many twists in the tail between now and the T20 World Cup. So relax. Let it unfold slowly. Right now, let's just talk about what's going to unfold tomorrow. On Monday, we're not going to let you get blue and down because we have a great game of cricket that's happening in the evening. That's Chennai playing Rajasthan, and both teams are coming off wins. Both teams are coming off good wins. Remember, Chennai bowled Punjab out pretty cheap. Deepak Chahar had a great game, and Rajasthan kind of did that heist in the end. Chris Morris beating Delhi. So both teams are seeming very positive, Joy, going into this.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match because I'm glad that Rajasthan won that match because it set up this match a bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Had Rajasthan like Sunrisers fallen far behind, then you don't get that sort of excitement. I think these two teams are evenly matched. The fact that the other good thing is that David Miller has struck form. It's important for them that David Miller strikes form, but because with Ben Stokes not there, having your gun international batsman strike form. Now all they're looking at is saying that Joss Butler is too good a player to keep failing. Yeah. At some point in time, Joss Butler is going to get it right. And the day Joss Butler gets it right, he can win a game by himself. So they're looking at this and saying, you know what, on this pitch, we'll fancy our chances. Jaydev has not bowled badly. We have a chance. And I think that's a fair call to say that, Rajasthan is going to come into this with a bit of momentum.
Michael, I mean, Ben Stokes, big shoes to fill, right? When you lose him after one game, it's almost impossible to fill those shoes. But as they say, from adversity, trying to find opportunity, I think the opportunity that Rajasthan has found here is that Joss Butler comes to open. You like that. You like that Joss Butler comes to open. And that David Miller has hit the ground running.
Yeah, Miller's in fine form, left-hander, similar to Ben Stokes. So in terms of batting, I think it's almost like for like, but you miss, obviously, Ben's 2 to 4 overs. Depending on the pitch, that's pretty much what he always bowls. He's consistently a 4-over bowler. I just think Chris Morris's performance and him getting him over the line with the bat, that's the one area of Chris Morris's game that I've been dying to see for a long while is, he's a better batter than we've seen. He can properly play, as we saw in that tight chase. He can strike a ball. He used his brain at the right time because he didn't try and, I know it's going against what I've said, but his mindset is to hit sixes. But when it wasn't there, he just get off strike and make sure that we're keeping the scoreboard ticking. And that's the kind of player he should be. He should be scoring more consistent runs in T20 cricket than he has done. And I just wonder whether that boost in confidence will do the world of good for him. Chennai, look, I agree with you. I think Chennai, from the Dad's Army days in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, where they just looked like Dad's Army, they have had a spring of life. They seem to be a little bit more buoyant, whether it's the Moeen Ali signing. I'm not too sure. Sam Curran, obviously youthful as well, but MS Dhoni had a bit of a breather. He's not really fired with the bat yet, but you can tell he's up for this challenge. And I like all their combinations. But I can't help but think that the last four, it's all written in the stars. You've got Rohit Sharma, he'll be captain in a team. Virat Kohli, he'll be captain in a team. Rishabh Pant, he'll be captain in a team. And MS Dhoni. The 4 superstars of Indian cricket will all be captain in the qualifiers. I can see it in the stars already.
The foreign captains are standing and going, what about us? We want a piece of the action.
No chance.
Looking tough, though. You're right. It is looking tough. But, that's the thing with MS Dhoni. We look at that team, right? Joy, they've got so many batting options and so many bowling options that they haven't really needed MS Dhoni, the batsman, so far, because look, they're batting down to like 8 or 9 almost, right?
Yeah, they're batting. I mean, Chehar is batting at 11.
Chehar. Yeah, correct. They're batting till 11 because they've got Shardul Thakur who can really hit. He's at 10. Bravo's at 9. What's going on? They don't need.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So they don't need MS to fire. If MS can just stay behind the stumps, give the advice that he does, control his bowlers, and just be MS, that's still good enough for them. And look, that's the point. MS is a good enough batsman. At some point in time, he's going to give you some runs. So that's not their problem. Their only problem is that their upfront batsmen have to keep giving runs. They need to keep getting runs. See, last time they got an easy chase because Deepak Chahar decimated the Punjab batting. Yeah. So what they need to do is prove that they can chase 175, 180 consistently. That's the big challenge for this team. If they can do that,
Sorry, Joe, I just realised that the actual the reason why Chennai are so strong this year is because they've got the nicest man in their squad in the game, Cheshwar Pujara. He is the nicest man. That spiritual home of Moeen's, it's because of Pujara as well. He is a gem of a human being. They've got a lovely squad generated.
I would like to see Pujara perhaps play a game or two. I mean, he has got a 40-odd ball century in Mushtaq Ali, right? In Syed Mushtaq Ali, he's got a 40-ball century. It's not that he can. But right now, they're literally jostling for space because Robin Uthappa sitting outside saying, well, I'm here, but he's not getting a game. And there's a good traffic jam. Do you just think they need one more infusion of proper 140, 145 pace in their bowling attack? Michael?
Yeah, I think they could do with that. But MS Dhoni in his time in the IPL, he's managed to manoeuvre teams and get them winning. And he's not always had the express pace. He just knows how to manoeuvre the tactics, use the right bowlers at the right time. I guess the one doubt for Chennai is when they bat first. I still think that they're a team that doesn't quite go for the 210s, 220s. And it'd be interesting tomorrow night on the same venue that we've seen tonight. Whoever wins the toss has a big advantage. It's massive chase there. Chennai if they chase, I think they'll win. Rajasthan if they chase, I think it'll be a good chance that Rajasthan will win. I think the toss is, and I agree with Simon Doolat on commentary, they do have to do something about this second innings. It's becoming a little bit unfair on the team that loses the toss, particularly bowling with the soap bar pretty much from the second over. So something needs to do with that. But I think the toss is going to play a big part tomorrow night.
The dew. It is becoming a serious step. I mean, you're calling it a soap bar, which means it's becoming pretty serious. All right, so probably looking at not making any changes. We're looking at Rajasthan perhaps not making any changes, but then you never know, right? Sometimes teams just come up and say, we've got 4 changes like Hyderabad did to us yesterday, and you're just scratching your head and going, what? 4? What? What's going on here? So if one of those things...
come on, MS isn't changing.
MS is not changing.
He's too busy. He doesn't want to have a team meeting. He doesn't want to speak to the coach about changes.
That's right.
Waste of time.
But you never know. Maybe MS is due an upgrade in software, right? And every few years that happens. You never know. Is this that year? And the new software update says changes. We've got changes now. No, that's not going to happen when it's working so beautifully. Why would you want to tamper it? So we've just got the Joy Factor question and answer to declare. Joy, over to you. Yes, sir.
Okay, and here was the question. The record that this batsman set in 2006 was later broken in a match in which he was one of the unfortunate bowlers involved. Just name the cricketer in the record he created. This is Cameron White, who scored 141. I think he was batting for Somerset against Worcestershire. And that was the T20 record till a certain Brendan McCullum massacred that record on this day in 2008. Basically, and one of the bowlers to suffer was Cameron White, who came on for 1 over, went for 24 runs, and didn't bowl again.
Ever in his life. No.
I wonder why.
It's because he ran into Brendan McCullum. Well, we have a winner. We got how many right answers did we get? 68? That's insane. Go ahead, sir. Please tell us who the first one was. Go on. Manan Mehta, congratulations. Manan Me has put his phone number, his landline number in front of it. So congratulations.
Exactly. I'm trying to work out. Would that be a landline number?
I think that's the amount of runs that Brian Lara scored off my captaincy.
Just on that one afternoon at the Oval. Just on that one afternoon. Well, congratulations to Manan. That was a good answer, and you got it in the first. So, well done. All right, well, gentlemen, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much. It's been delightful having your company here today, and I want to tell all of you, thank you for joining us through this Sunday. Also want to quickly tell you about Cricbuzz Plus. That's where you get all the premium content. If you want to go above the noise, do subscribe, do sign up. We have, and please come. Yep, do it. Do it now. All that's left to say is thank you to Joy and Michael. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. Michael, is it time for a lager and a pie? Sunday dinner? Smoke the pen? All right, we'll smoke. Wait, we're going to...
I actually got a Sunday roast waiting for me. So the full mashings, roast beef, Yorkshire puddings, you name it, every bit of veg, and a nice glass of red I'll probably get a nice sleep with that.
In the pizza oven? In the pizza oven in the backyard, yeah?
I've been watching the game, so my wife, well, she can't hear me. No, she can't. She's useless with the pizza oven. It's only me that can control it.
The pizza oven is her Brian Lara, right? This has gone out of hand here. All right, well, I'm sure we're going to catch a glimpse of that dinner on Michael's Instagram. So you can go and check it out right over there in case you want to drool and run to the fridge for some midnight carb attack. Don't do it. Trust me. Check it out in the morning. Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Joy. Good night to all of you watching. A big thank you to our crew pulling a hard Sunday in these times in the control room. So big thank you to our crew as well. I'm Gaurav Kapur saying good night. Thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.